your Chargers linebacker, Dan Henley, and you're tuning in with Chargers Unleashed.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. If this is your first time tuning in the show, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube, and also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Dan Wolkenstein, happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday to everyone that is joining us as we gear up for a pivotal Monday Night Football matchup between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Philadelphia Eagles. As Coach Harbaugh likes to say, this isn't Christmas season, this is competitive season, because really, Dan, you can treat these last 5 weeks of the season as playoff games. And this is a gauntlet of a run that the Chargers are about to go on starting on Monday night. Lots of things to get into as it relates to this breakdown, these matchups, what to watch for, who needs to stand out, and obviously the most famous and talked about left hand in Los Angeles right now, and that being Justin Herbert. Dan Wolkenstein, good morning, happy Sunday. I'm assuming that you brought some caffeine with you to this show today.
This time I did. I went up for like a shaken espresso brown sugar thing. I haven't tasted it yet, so it might be hot garbage or cold garbage. But
what was the first word you just said?
Shaken?
Shaken. I swear to God, it came through like chicken. I was like,
extra protein in the morning.
Is that a new flavor that I have not heard about?
Awful. Jake, how are you doing? I'm kind of nervous.
I'm all right.
I'm just hanging in there.
I'm all right. Eventually, the energy is going to, it's going to build throughout the rest of the show. So,
well, what's building?
We'll get there.
Coffee flavor on me. This is fantastic. Woo! Chargers fans in the chat, how are we feeling? Happy Sunday. Stress-free Sunday for us, folks. No Chargers football. All stress comes tomorrow. Jake and I both will be there live in attendance, so looking forward to seeing you guys and gals out there. If you see us, don't be a stranger. Say hi. I'll be there bright and early.
Yeah, what time is bright and early for you?
I'm probably going to leave. My goal is to get there like 3-ish.
Okay, great.
3-ish. So I can go to Pink Lot. I can go check out Thunder Alley, say highs, all that kind of stuff. Get some food. The tacos out there are banging in the Pink Lot. So again, don't be a stranger. Let us know in the chat. What are you guys drinking this morning? I went bougie. What are you guys doing? Jake, your lighting is wonderful today.
It's only because of my screen, Dan. Don't let it confuse you.
Okay, you didn't do the self-tanner today?
First of all, there is no self-tanner. I've never done self-tanner. All right? This is pure authentic, what you're seeing right now, and some people, it blinds them. Depending on what the lighting looks like. As Dan Wolkenstein liked to call me pretty much transparent or Casper in last show. So really, thanks a lot for that. I need summer to come back so I can get burnt. I don't get tan. I just get burnt because
I'm kind of with you.
Yeah, there is no middle ground for me. So I get burnt and then it transitions into a tan and then I peel. That's how my body works.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at too. Yeah. Huge game. So let's get into it. Chargers fans, how are we feeling? Let's get some of these comments. Good morning. Joshua thinks that we're going to shock the league and go on a run. I feel like this is the visual where you see like you're in pain, you're whatever this visual is, but we're back in the circle. For a full circle now, back going on a run. Eagles put up did you see this, Jake? Eagles put up a positivity bunny in their locker room. Eagles by 50. What the hell is that?
I guess whatever works.
I mean, does it?
I mean, obviously, it seems like, especially if we're just talking offensively for them, it seems like, there's been that conversation about the Eagles and their struggles offense for a better part of the season, and things still haven't been able to get right. So I guess whatever you need to do, you bring in the positivity bunny to when an emergency break glass for positivity bunny.
Good Lord. So yeah, I mean, understatement. This is a big game. 8-4, Monday night, primetime, standalone game in SoFi. But honestly, and both teams are desperate right now. Like, this is a huge one for both. I would argue it's bigger for the Chargers than it is for the Eagles right now, given the strength of schedule ahead. But this Eagles team's kind of reeling, especially on offense. And to some injuries, clearly, to both teams. Before going into the season, I feel like this was much more of I don't know about this one, but now you see Jalen Carter's not playing, Lane Johnson's not playing, but then Justin Herbert's got one hand, Martin Hampton's back, possibly Will Dissly's playing.
Oh, he's playing.
How are you feeling about this?
Again, I believe, if I remember what when we were making our preseason predictions,
I think we both had this as a loss.
I chalked this up as a loss, 100%.
Yeah.
But just the way that you have seen when we talked about, things not being hyperbole and things becoming trends, we know what the trend is for the Chargers offensive line. They have to figure out ways to better that even by 1% from a week-to-week basis. It's that bad. But for the Eagles offensively, man, they have struggled for longer than you just would have expected, considering how long some of their issues have been going on.
Yeah.
And all things considered, fortuitous timing for Omarion Hampton to be returning to the lineup, especially with the way that Kamani Vidal has, carried the flag over these past several weeks since he has been out. You're going to be leaning heavy into this run game. And when it comes to outside runs, strength versus weakness, Chargers versus Eagles in that department, there's definitely a very good path to a Chargers victory, especially with the left-hand injury of Justin Herbert, which is obviously going to limit this team as far as their offensive playbook goes. But Dan, in just a situation like this, when now you're talking about two teams that really need to start righting the ship as it relates to either for the Eagles, their division, for the Chargers, for just getting to the playoffs in general, it's a huge matchup. And there are strengths and weaknesses all over the place. I think this is going to be a very, very tough game. I don't think you're going to see this in the high scoring numbers of things. I think you're probably looking closer to, 17-13, 20-17 type of a game. I see this actually just being a very tough competitive matchup overall, but lots to break down because, as you mentioned, the injuries, certain guys coming back, this will be a very interesting game.
Yeah, the Eagles weirdly are below average this year in almost every category for offense, at least. I think they're like 23rd in passing yards per game, 22nd in rushing yards per game, which is bonkers considering the talent that they have with Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goedert. I mean, it goes on and on. I think the difference is this year that offensive line isn't what it was last year, or at least on paper it might be, but due to injury and due to performance, they just haven't been able to keep it together. And so this Chargers defense, I think, has the edge against the Eagles offense. But then you go the other way. I mean, clearly it depends on how this Chargers offensive line will go up against this Eagles front. And Jalen Carter not being there is huge, but don't let that fool you. They've still got a shit ton of dudes on that defensive front that will wreck shop and that can wreck shop. So just because they're out one defensive tackle does not mean that this is chalked up as a loss for them.
No, the Eagles have built themselves for years in terms of that defensive line and building depth behind it. So, again, remember who your offensive line is. It really doesn't matter. Remember what the Titans did when they didn't have Jeffrey Simmons. They still got after Justin Herbert.
They did. Like, looking at this defense, I mean, they got Jalen Phillips that they got to trade, Jordan Davis, Zach Bond. I mean, that defense goes crazy. Nolan Smith, Nakobe Dean. I haven't even talked about the secondary yet. Arguably the two best corner tandem this year, Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell. I know he plays slot, but that's a good freaking defense, man. And honestly, that's the reason why they are even 8-4, because it certainly isn't their offense that's making it happen. 5,000 foot view here for a second from a Chargers perspective, like lens going into this game. Where are we at on like the hopium level right now? Because I feel like going out of that Jacksonville loss, I mean, it was pedal to the floor. Like it was as empty as it possibly could be.
Yep.
And then you get the bye. Then the Raider game, second half of the Raider game.
There it is.
Then the injury kind of like now seemingly it looks like he's got more ability now than he did after the second half of that Raiders game, looking at kind of that contraption they have. Like, where's our hopium level?
How do you want to measure this? Because I said prior to the Raider game that even for them going out and handling business, it would not do that much to move the needle for me. Like, this is where everything starts tomorrow night.
The Raiders game. Yeah.
Yes. At the same time, everybody's hopium was sort of lifted after they saw what the performance was of Jamari Sawyer at left tackle. Again, this is where we're at from the offensive line standpoint. It's just like basically take wins whatever you can get, because I remember when people were very optimistic about when Trevor Penning was going to be at left tackle, and that was just god-awful when you get benched for Austin Deckles in the middle of that Jacksonville game. So you're basically just trying to take wins wherever you can get them. And the cautious thing about, obviously, the Justin Herbert injury is that with this offensive line, how does he fall if he gets hit? How does he fall if he gets tackled? Again, it's his non-throwing hit, which means he's obviously going to brace it. But this is why, and again, limited offensive playbook. I don't foresee Justin Herbert, even though he was getting handed the ball off during practice this week, I don't foresee him taking any snaps under center. So is that going to eliminate the bootleg? This is why Trey Lance has been inserted more with starting reps when it comes to short yardage situations. So you gotta get me through this week, Dan. Again, matchup wise, stylistically, I'm optimistic. Mm-hmm. As far as moving beyond Monday Night Football, it's going to be a different story. Honestly, I have to see how they come out and play today against a much better opponent than the Las Vegas Raiders. How does Justin Herbert play this entire game? You said it after the Raiders game. Greg Roman is going to have a big responsibility coming into this week as far as the playbook goes. Let's see what that looks like, because after that first drive in the Raiders game, it looked really bad leading up to halftime. Then, thankfully, they righted the ship. And now, again, with the Justin Herbert injury, Omari and Hampton returning to make a tandem with Kamani Vidal, that this Chargers offense should be leaning into the running game immensely. Can you protect Justin Herbert enough with all of those aspects?
I mean, that is plain and simple the biggest storyline of this game, is how effective can Justin Herbert be? And given what we're seeing, again, I'm not trying to put the cart in front of the horse here, but given what we've seen in some of those visuals of Justin's hand and like the progression of like from the full-on hand cast to like the full-on back of the hand cast to like now it's like a little like contraption that goes over the glove. But the part that I'm noticing is like you're seeing that he has mobility in all of his fingers, which he didn't have in that game second half after they
were taped together. There wasn't much movement that he had.
So the under center stuff, I'm still kind of questioning if he's going to not have that or not, because with that contraption there, right? Like I'm not sure what the risk is if you have that brace on top. Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But I'm curious, like, how much he will be affected by this. And we might be taking it further than it might be. But I think they're practicing with Trey Lance and with Justin. Trey Lance doing under center stuff. Again, like the under center stuff, the stuff that's probably most important is going to be like the short yardage stuff, like the quarterback sneaks, the tush push type things, the goal line. In those instances, like, are you going to have a Conklin doing the quarterback sneak anyways versus a Trey Lance? You know, do you put in like an offensive lineman back there to do it? Like, at that point, I don't think it really matters. But the Eagles defense, again, like the weird part is like they're not statistically, and again, some of this is because they've gotten absolutely blitzed the last few weeks from a rushing perspective. But like you look at the Eagles defense, 24th in rushing yards allowed, almost 129 yards a game. Passing yards per game, they're allowing the 8th most, almost 350 yards, which is crazy. And you look at the Chargers, I mean, they are complete opposite. 3rd fewest passing yards allowed is this Chargers team. 275 a game. Excuse me, that's total yards. My bad. 275 total yards per game. That's 3rd best. Passing yards, 2nd best, 168. Rushing yards, they are 20th. 106. So, not bad. Chargers, all things considered. Again, looking at you statistically, this is weirdly a favorable matchup. Now, the part that scares me, Jake, is we've seen this story before where blank team is struggling. Blank is the worst in the NFL. Blank got absolutely trucked. Blank is having a down year. And then play the Chargers, get right game.
That's right.
I'm looking at you, Saquon. I'm looking at you, AJ. Like, don't let you be the team that Saquon goes back to Saquon. Please. Like, in this one, and we'll get to the offense versus defense, but like one of the biggest storylines for me is make Jalen Hurts beat you with his arm. If you can make him beat you with his arm, if you can stop or at least contain the run game, I like Jesse Minter versus the Eagles offense. Jake, before we get to all the matchups and all the sleeper picks and all that, let's talk about our friends over at Sleeper.
Well, I want to remind everyone that, of course, we are in the thick of NFL season, gearing towards the playoffs, which means you now have a chance to win up to 1,000 times your cash on daily fantasy football with Sleeper. Football has never been more exciting than it is right now with players like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. Pick on these stats for these stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 1,000 times payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right and you could win big. Just use the promo code ChargersLAFB and you can get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper terms are used for details. Currently operating in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
Let's get to some of these comments. Forgotten locale. I am worried Saquon will break loose. Cody says, I love my Bolts, but I'm still playing AJ Brown in fantasy. Fair. Let's see. Athir with a surprisingly respectful conversation here. Or maybe not. $5 donation. Thank you. You cannot stop me. You cannot. Wait, you cannot. Oh, wait. I can do this again. You cannot stop me. You cannot slow me. You cannot hold me. Lad. 35 yards, 3 touchdowns. Chargers beat they ass. 34-17. Take your ass back to Philly.
Easier on the ears.
Who's he talking to? By the way,
I don't know if he's talking about Ladd McConkey having just a huge game that's saying that you can't stop him, or if Athir is just saying you can't stop him from making some of these bold predictions.
I'm just happy he's being somewhat respectful today. Jake.
To you.
To me.
To you.
Sure. JLM 79. Chargers defense is the best the Eagles have faced in months. Yeah, probably. Again, you look at the strength of schedule moving forward. I think the Eagles got like the Raiders, the Commanders. I forget who else, but like they've got a 3 or 4, in theory, easy win upcoming.
I would say that Green Bay defense that they played, and even though they still ended up winning that game, that was an ugly game. But don't knock Green Bay's defense. They got a pretty good defense over there.
They do. Are they playing Green Bay?
No, they did weeks ago.
I'm saying upcoming. Oh, no. I see what you're saying. You're talking about earlier in the season. Okay. Tito being back will help the run defense, says G Pal Money. Jake, you get the reins. How do you want to start? Eagles offense or Eagles defense?
Let's go Eagles offense, Dan.
Eagles offense.
Let's go Eagles offense.
Now, what do you think of this matchup? Like, Kellen Moore ain't there anymore. And this Eagles offensive coordinator is getting eggs thrown
He
at
ain't
his
here
house.
anymore either.
No.
Ain't here anymore either.
Touche. How do you feel about this side?
As you said, I like Jesse Minter against this offense. And just when you talk about, again, the struggles, like normally we'd be talking about this to say, as you were teasing, this could potentially be a get right game for certain players. And just with the way that they have continued to struggle, whether it's Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, most notably Saquon Barkley not having the season they had, I think their offensive line not being what it was last year during their Super Bowl run has affected things. You look at what they do on first down, Dan. It's widely known that they are the worst first down offense in the NFL. And when you get
Eagles,
stuck, yes, and when you get stuck like that, the Chargers are not strangers to situations like that. When you put yourself in either second long or third and long situations, it's tough to get out from underneath that. It's tough to progress. So I'm interested to see, especially with the way that Jesse Minter tinkered a little bit of his defense last week against the Raiders, with certain coverages that he was running, mainly with Deion Henley having some rotations at edge. They were putting a lot more commitment towards the run, which I like, especially after what you saw Liam Cohen and the Jacksonville Jaguars do to you 2 weeks ago. Like, that was a big deal. And when you're talking about some of the running backs and teams that can run the football that you're going to be going up here against over the next several weeks, like, that's big. That is big. And Jesse Minter does not want a repeat performance in any shape or form of that Jacksonville loss. And that was just, again, they were able to do whatever they wanted. And when you have an opposing offense that can do that to you, it just wears you down. So how does Jesse Minter attack this? Well, number one, I think that Thule's going to have a nice matchup on the right side of the offensive line for him to start getting after Jalen Hurts. Once again, I think the commitment should be to stop Saquon Barkley, as you said, Dan, make Jalen Hurts beat you. And with a zone coverage like this, with A.J. Smith and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, I think that you have the tools to do that on the outside. I'll be interested to see, as far as like the matchup goes, if it comes down to one-on-one situations, if we're talking about Cam Hart drawing the straw to defend with A.J. Brown, what that's going to look like. I think that Jesse Minter has the tools defensively to slow them down.
Supposedly, Sirianni will be more involved in the offense this week.
Supposedly.
We'll see. Taking a page out of the Lions playbook.
It only took the Philadelphia fan base egging their offensive coordinators home for that to happen.
Absolutely unreal. So again, this is where it's kind of weird, right? This Philadelphia Eagles offense, 5th worst third down percentage in the NFL. 5th worst. They're there with the Titans, Vikings, Browns, Falcons, and then the Eagles at just 34.5% conversion, going up against a Chargers team defense that is 4th best on third down. So third down for me will be a story of this game. If that stays chalk, I think the Chargers are in good shape. But if the Eagles' first third down conversion starts creeping up, then it's tough. Now, I think what has been make or break for this Eagles offense, though, and it kind of makes sense given the tush push it was invented in Philly, is they are second best on fourth down percentage on offense. So, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Philadelphia defense. On Philadelphia defense, them and which we'll get to in a second, but just food for thought, them and the Chiefs are the 2 best fourth down defenses in terms of percentage given up. So if you get to fourth down against the Eagles, we'll talk about in a second on offense. Again, like Jalen Carter, that defensive front, like that's a bullish front to try and get fourth downs on. But
it'd be interesting to see the down and distance as well, because that's also going to change your personnel, what your play call is.
Oh, totally.
It's going to change everything.
Yep. Yep. Philly offense. I mean, again, they got dudes, man. And most of it is kind of hindered by the offensive line right now. But Lane Johnson's out. You're looking at Tyler Steen, Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, who's still an absolute beast. But, I mean, Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown, Saquon. I mean, look, their running back room is crazy. Saquon, Tank Bigsby, Will Shipley, and A.J. Dillon right now. I mean, their offense is struggling, though. Like, it is not pretty.
I'll be interested to see what percentage Jesse Minter blitzes in this game. He brought it a little bit more last week, but again, you look at the personnel, it's just so different when you're talking about the Raiders offense compared to Philly. And I don't even care if this is a Philly team that's struggling. Traditionally, Jesse Minter does not blitz that much when he's running zone heavy. Last week, there wasn't much fear of it. And when you start building that lead, it affords you those opportunities to pin your ears back a little bit more. And obviously, Khalil Mack and Tooley had fantastic games last week. You'd hope to see somewhat of a repeat performance in terms of getting after Jalen Hurts. But once again, I'm interested more, Dan, in the secondary rotation as far as who's going to be covering who, whether it's going to be a rotation of, Cam Hart, Dante Jackson, the way that he's been playing. You insert Tony Jefferson a little bit more into this defensive lineup where he's just able to make plays one way or the other. And then Derwin James being the ultimate chess piece. What's going to be your coverage package? What are you going to be running heavily on? And with these tweaks that you just saw a smidge of Jesse Minter against the Raiders. Again, I like what I saw. I think it's a huge priority from what you have seen other teams to look at to say, okay, we could just run this as a blueprint of the Jacksonville game, keep that defense on its heels, do whatever we want, build up a lead, pin our ears back, go after Justin Herbert. You can't allow that to happen. So Jesse Minter, on the other hand, just committing extra bodies to the run. Someone mentioned, obviously, the Tito factor coming into play as far as getting after the run defense. Yeah, it's another body in there. I think that will be their number one priority as well. And as Dan mentioned, again, make Jalen Hurts beat you. If you are able to continue this trend of the Eagles being terrible on first down, you should be in a good position.
I was looking at some of the splits for Jalen Hurts specifically, just to kind of see like where he's throwing and what this team does, right? Like I'm looking at deep shots for Jalen Hurts this season. And I'm looking at a combined 21, 32, 52 attempts and a grand total of 21 completions. Like his completion percentage is well below 50%, like well below. Deep left, 33.3% completion percentage. Deep right, 40% completion percentage. And down the field, the middle, 54.5. 7-1, though. Touchdown interception ratio. So it's boom or bust. They're not completing it often, but when they do, it's a touchdown. And it's not a turnover. But that's kind of the problem, right? It's like feast or famine. And if all you're doing is run, pass long, like that's, and defenses know that, right? Like, they have not been effective, or I should say they have not been efficient throwing the deep pass. But that's not what this team is predicated on, right? Like this team is predicated on physicality, on bully ball, on rushing it down your throat and imposing their will. And so far this season, they just haven't been able to do that as much. And so you're seeing the crippling effects of when you can't be effective at what you're best at, kind of takes the handcuffs and tightens them a little bit. Jake, how do you see the AJ Brown matchup, Dallas Goedert matchup? Like, do you think Derwin goes on AJ, Cam Hart, and Dante go on AJ?
That's the combination I see. Again, just depending on what type of defense you're running. Again, I still expect it to be heavy zone, which for AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, I think that's the best way to go. So I think that the defensive schemes in general match up well to cover them. In those off times where maybe you do go man, I'd be interested to see what that is. I'd probably give the nod to Dante Jackson there as far as being on AJ Brown. But we'll see. Again, the commitment's got to be to the run. And if you put them in third and long scenarios for a majority of the game, just don't give up those like 3rd and 14 plays where you're just like, oh, come on. Just don't have that happen, because we've seen that happen a few times with this defense already. But it starts up front, Dan. I think you have areas on this defense and a lot of different areas that you could take advantage of. Number one, with the Chargers defensive line, committing to stopping the run, also getting after Jalen Hurts with the way that their offensive line has been playing. I think you've got the guys on that side of the ball that can get after the pass rush, especially when what you've seen kind of a pissed off mode from Tooley and Mack last week. That's a good stepping stone in the right direction. And coverage wise, I think that you've got the guys in the middle of the field that can handle, limiting some of those explosive plays.
Interesting statistic here. Looking at splits. When blitz versus not blitzed, Jalen Hurts passer rating according to PFF, when he's not blitzed, pretty lethal, 85.7. Pretty damn good. When he's blitzed, 66.8. So what do you think Jesse Mitchell's going to do? What do you think he's going to do? Again, but you're also going up against an offensive line that hasn't been great. And so, like, if they can do that without needing to blitz,
that's where I think the Jesse Minter is going to still try. I think he's not going to just all of a sudden, make a huge change and be a blitz heavy defense. He's still going to try to get his wins where he can.
But on big downs, I think you go with what statistics are telling you.
Yeah, we'll see, Dan. We'll see. It'll be a very interesting matchup to see what Jesse Minter does. Again, I like the wrinkles that he installed last week, and it's different for every single team that you see, but it's a much different team that you're playing in the Philadelphia Eagles than you are the Las Vegas Raiders. For sure.
How do you contain Saquon? What's your take on that?
If we start seeing Deion Henley more at edge to commit to the running game, I'm down for that. Tito coming back potentially, that works. How are you going to clog up the middle with Deshaun Hannity or Tart? This offensive line has those areas that you can exploit. Don't allow Saquon to get to the outside. And whether we're talking in the running game or the passing game, you have to be aware of that. He's still Saquon.
Exactly.
Like, don't let the stats fool you. He's still Saquon.
Yep.
So again, overall game plan: do not allow the Philadelphia Eagles to run the ball, get into a rhythm in any sense of the word.
And normally that's easier said than done, right?
But do not allow them to start winning on first down, because if you get this team into an offensive rhythm all of a sudden, it's not where you want to be.
No. And this the other part, interesting, and Jake, this kind of goes to what you were saying. Chargers they blitz the 6th lowest amount in the NFL. 6th fewest blitz percentage, just 19%. Eagles are right around there too. I think Eagles are, Chargers are at 19%, well, Eagles are at 20%.
I mean, the Eagles traditionally don't need to blitz because they can win with 4 every single time.
Yep. So, I don't know, man. This is going to be real interesting. The Chargers defense pressure percentage, they are kind of middle of the pack, 21%. I mean, this is going to be it. Like, this is a fun. The thing I like about this is a fun matchup. Like, there's a lot of statistics that go in the Chargers' favor that you just wouldn't expect with a typical Philadelphia Eagles team. But I mean, we all know this. We've talked about it ad nauseum. Like, it's a trench game, right? Like, this Chargers defensive front versus the Eagles offensive front, and the Chargers offensive front versus the Eagles defensive front. That is the game. If one of those is catastrophically bad on either side, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I think what I'm going to start doing when we create these slides, instead of just making it like LAC defense versus Philly offense, like I should just make it Los Angeles Chargers offensive line versus Philly's defensive line. Houston Texans defensive line versus Chargers offensive line, because literally that's what's going to dictate the pace the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. But again, you mentioned the big story though. I think there's probably three big kind of storylines that will affect this game. Number one, clearly and obviously, Justin Herbert's hand. Number two, and I think this is more important than Amari Hampton. Number two for me is the Jamari Sawyer effect. Because, like, okay, if one of your tackles is more or less okay, then you can help chip on the other side. But it's so hard to chip on both sides. Like, how are you going to max protect? Like, it's just tough sledding. But if they can get Jamari Sawyer out there, who is better at pass protection than run blocking, but like still work his ass off, to me, like that is the much more important thing to have going right now. Like, if I had to choose between, do I rather have pass protection for Justin or run blocking for the rest of the folk? Like, at this point, with one-handed Justin, like, please just keep him upright for a sec. And then the third one is Amari Hampton back. And you got that Amari Hampton, Kamani Vidal, excuse me. Kamani Vidal. We're back to, it's just ironic, poetic that Chargers Justin Herbert now has one hand. But we're back to all the weapons Justin Herbert now has at his disposal. Rondé Gadsden, Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey, Omarion Hampton, Kamani Vidal, Trey Harris, Quentin Johnston. That's a lot of dudes. A lot of dudes this Chargers team did not have last year. And so we've talked about this ad nauseum, Jake, and I'll let you run with this. But for me, what was most important for this Chargers offense this offseason, was either they bulk up on pass protection and or get weapons that Justin can get the ball out early.
They did one of those things.
And you're seeing the quick winners. Trey Harris can do that. Keenan Allen, clearly. Ladd McConkey, clearly. Rondé Gadsden now in that mix. Kamani Vidal now is kind of an insurance policy along with Amari Hampton. All of those guys. If you want to add in Quentin Johnston from like a yak perspective,
sure.
Like they've got quick counters. One thing that they not do that much that I don't understand, and maybe they're saving it in their bag for another day. You don't really see many of those like now routes, the smoke screens, the running back screens. Like, you don't really see that from this Chargers offense as much as I would think you would or should, especially considering now you got one-handed quarterback going up against a crazy pass rush. Like, typically, you're kind of seeing these man beaters, one-on-one isolation routes, and just go in. But I'm hoping that maybe Greg Roman can kind of start scheming these things up a little bit and take advantage of opposing defense's pressure. For you, Jake, what's the big, aside from the offensive line versus the defensive front? Because that's obvious, right? Where do you see the storylines being?
Run. And do it to the outside. Do it to the outside. That's where the Chargers have had their most success. As Omarion Hampton said leading up to this game, he was asked about what the potential is to be pairing up with Kamani Vidal for those two. He said it was going to be something special. You can't say enough things about what Kamani Vidal has done over these last few weeks. And it's not just running the ball and carrying the running game torch when he's had to. Pass blocking. And he has been running hard. Like to Dan's point, it's not just a typical running back type of scheme that you have seen for traditional running backs that are his size. He does not care. He does not care. He does not avoid contact. He has been able to refine his technique in terms of getting through some of those holes, getting after the tough yardage. And now when you add a guy who's about 40 pounds heavier and
6 inches taller,
several inches taller, I'm excited to see what this is going to be. And this could be a vintage Greg Roman type of game, vintage Jim Harbaugh type of a game, if you're ultimately able to execute it correctly. And you should be able to. Now, I agree with this in terms of taking some notes during what the Chicago Bears did to the Philadelphia Eagles just over a week ago. Also have to remember that Chicago Bears have one of the better offensive lines in the National Football League. They were able to just impose their will. Now, while the Chargers' offensive line is better at run blocking than it is at pass blocking, I don't foresee that type of success. But I still think that you can get after them in a similar type of fashion, which is why I still predict that this is going to be a run-heavy game. And if you're able to dictate that type of a pace and win early on downs, it's going to simplify things for Justin Herbert. It's going to protect Justin Herbert a little bit more. And it's going to give you better options in terms of offense, what you're able to create.
Yeah, I mean, this Philadelphia defense, like, it's not what you're used to seeing, at least statistically. Like their defense has been keeping them in games, especially on money downs. But if we're just looking at statistically, 23rd in rushing yards allowed, 22nd in passing yards allowed per game. They're not really bowing up that much on defense from third down percentage conversion. And the Chargers, number 1 in the NFL on offense, third down percentage conversion. 48.3, number 1 in the NFL. Now, I think what is counter to that, Chargers red zone, 23rd. 23rd. We didn't talk about this before. Don't let the Eagles get in the red zone. Don't do it.
Just period. Just keep them.
because when they do get in the red zone, they score. They score touchdowns. They have the highest red zone percentage and clear every other team by at least 6 points. The Commanders are second best at 69.7. The Eagles are 76% red zone percentage.
Pretty damn good.
Good Lord. So, Chargers offense, like, can they rush? Can they be consistent? Can they be effective at rushing the quarterback or rushing the ball with Omar Hampton, Kamani Vidal? I hope so. Hypothetically, Jake, if you had Kamani Vidal and Omar Hampton on your fantasy team,
saying which one should I start?
Who are you starting? Hypothetically, of course.
I got to give the nod to Omari and Hampton. You just have to do that. And it's nothing against Kamani Vidal's performance because it's been so good. But I think now that you've got him back in the lineup, you're going to allow him to kind of set the tone.
Yeah, I think you're right. Vidal is running and blocking to save his career. He stepped up for sure. Honestly, it's been so cool to see his glow up from last year to this year. And to think about where he wasn't on the roster to start the season.
Crazy.
Absolute crazy. Man. Jake, anything else from the wide receiver perspective, or I should say just playmaker, offensive weapon perspective? I mean, plethora of them for the Chargers. But you got a damn good secondary with the Eagles. How do you see that? Who do you think eats this week? Who doesn't?
I mean, who is Quinyon Mitchell going to be covering? Probably so Quentin Johnston.
He is so good.
Probably Quentin Johnston. So it leaves you great options to still throw to in Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen. Again, I think it's going to be much more just of a short game. The Chargers really have not been that type of offense that we've seen this season that's explosive downfield, making those type of plays. Anything outside of Quentin Johnston has not really been there as far as, maybe outside of the Ladd McConkey broken tackles that end up going for touchdowns. They're just not that type of a team. And obviously you're not going to be having Justin Herbert taking 5 to 7 step drops with a hand injury. He's not going to be in that position anyways. So again, wherever Quinyon Mitchell is, you're still going to have options that I think that you can make it a much more productive short game for the Chargers. So I think that you're going to have ample opportunities for Quentin Johnston and Ladd McConkey to get theirs. Aronde Gadsden, how is that going to match up across the middle of the field with what they have there in Zach Bond? Can you scheme ways for him to get open? Yeah, I 100% believe that you can do that. I think you could take advantage of a Nakobe Dean in the middle of the field and get a Rondé Gadsden free. So again, to Dan's point, where you didn't have these weapon options before, when you didn't have guys that could beat man coverage outside of Ladd McConkey last season, you've got those ways now. It'll just be interesting to see, because you still have an offensive playbook that is limited with Justin Herbert if he's not going to be taking any snaps under center. So how are you going to scheme it properly in order to get guys open?
I'm hoping this Chargers offense continues to rush left, tell you that much. Because damn, when they go left, look at this. Vidal. So far this season, on 121 attempts, so it's not a small sample size, 7.1 yards per attempt going left. Amari Hampton, 7.2, which is insane. But you look at it compared to the right, left end, 7.2 for Amarian. I'll just go to the whole team. Left end as a team, 6.3 yards per attempt going left. Going right, 4.7. And in the middle, there's a bunch of threes. 3.6, 3.0, 2.8. Right guard, though. Going off the right guard, that's Makai's side, 6.0. Right guard, left end. That's where you want to see. So, man, this is a fun one, dude. I'm excited. I feel like a lot of the Eagles side are sleeping on the Keenan Allen impact of this game. A lot of people talk about Ladd, but if you watch Chargers games this year, like Keenan's the one that has been moving the sticks. Ladd has too. But Keenan has been kind of that like churning presence for this Chargers team. Again, I said this last week, like that was a Keenan game. This week, I think it might be Keenan too, man. I really do. I like Keenan, I like Gaston, and I like Quentin. All three of those guys. Jake, got $20 donation from Action Dan 65. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Happy Sunday morning to you. With both teams trying to establish the run early, this may be the fastest Monday Night Football game in history.
I'll be home before dinner.
But if they can't convert on third down, then maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, man. Jake, anything else on the offense for the Chargers going against the Eagles defense before we get to the rest of it?
Will Dissly will be active, Dan. With Tucker Fisk officially out, and with the previous comments from Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, that it would take an injury for Will Dissly to finally be activated. I don't know if I like the trade-off or the logic behind that period, because we've been asking for Will Dissly to be active regardless when your offensive line has been this bad. But Will Dissly will be playing, Dan. So are we going to see any of those Will Dissly specials that we haven't seen in weeks?
The one screen? Yeah, absolutely.
But also, don't go away from your jumbo packages that you've seen success with Tucker Fisk in there. Please don't. You've got to have that.
Just replace with Will Dissly.
Put in Will Dissly for what he does best.
Jeremy says, it's a primetime game. Herbert will shine. Yeah, I mean, Herbert in primetime games is absolute must-watch.
Pretty damn good this year.
We got about 10 minutes left here. Folks in the chat, give us your questions, your thoughts, and we will kind of do our best to kind of go rapid fire the rest of the way as we go through kind of our X factors and predictions. Jake, I think this is a pretty clear one for you, considering you made the slides and considering who's on the slide. Jake, talk about your bold prediction in terms of X factor.
I already kind of touched on it already. It's Omari and Hampton. It's 8-ball. Him coming back, and again, it's not just him. This really should be a shared slide between him and Kamani Vidal, because they are both going to shoulder the load, both going to be a ample piece to this offense with what you have with the situation with Justin Herbert, and just getting back to kind of a Jim Harbaugh, Greg Roman, old school type of running game. And you're capable of doing this. And it's fortuitous timing, obviously, that Omari and Hampton comes back, but it is a huge boost for the running game, even as good as it's been with Kamani Vidal. It's huge as it relates to this game, this particular situation. So there's no question about it. You start getting this running game going and get it going early, you're going to be able to dictate the pace. And that's vital for this team right now, especially with the Justin Herbert injury.
I'm going to cheat on this one a little bit, but I'm going to say Greg Roman. I think the X factor in this game will be Greg Roman.
It's fair.
He's got, and I'm not saying he has to adapt, right? I'm not saying he has to adjust like mid-game, which obviously those are buzzwords, easy. But this is very much like a big brain type game where like this Eagles team is coached well for the most part. I'm not talking about offensive coordinator, just saying in general. And they will win when it matters most if you let them. On defense and on offense. And so this Chargers offense has to get creative. And you've got to be effective against this Eagles defense. And Greg Roman has a task. We talked about it. You got a stud quarterback who has one hand. You're down your 2 star tackles. Going up against a great defense. Like, this is a tough game for him. But you have the tools and the assets to overcome it if you can scheme it, right? Now, I'm no expert. That's why they pay him millions and me not. But we have to see if we're going to see a different looking offense this week. Because if we see the same offense that we saw against Jacksonville, we see the same offense that we saw earlier in the year, it ain't going to work. Like, given who you have on offense, right? Given the tools you have, given the offensive line you currently have, you have to change it up. You have to change it up. So I'm going Greg Roman. And I don't think it's close, honestly. Like, if Greg Roman has a great day, this Chargers team wins. Period. Because I believe in Jesse Minter, right? I don't think that's the variable here. To me, it's on the offensive side. Bold predictions. You ready, Jake?
Let's go.
Bold predictions, game predictions. Actually, wait, pause. I forgot. I'm so sorry. What's your X factor on defense?
Deion Henley. As it relates to, I don't care if he's playing the middle of the field or if he's lined up on edge as Jesse Minter was doing last week. Just the commitment to the run is going to be key here. And what Deion Henley can do in coverage in the middle of the field is going to be key. Very simple. You don't allow Saquon to get going once again. You can keep this Eagles defense like their stats and their reputation that so far this season has said as far as what they have done or not done on first down. Again, it's Jesse Minter's scheme and how he brings the defense to every single opponent. That's what's going to carry you the rest of the season. So I like the idea of making Deion Henley more of a Derwin James-esque type chess piece that you can move around in multiple spots. I'm all here for that.
Yeah, I'm with you a little bit. I'd probably go like just the I don't know, the backbone of the defense, right? Like right up the middle. Like this is a Tyler Tart type game. This is a Denzel Perriman type game, a Thule from the inside game. Like he can wreck shop for sure. But they've got that interior's got to bow up. And like, am I expecting them to stop them on a tush push? Like, no, like that's tough, man. But like on 1st and 10, keep it to 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, right? Don't let that get to 2nd and 3 more often than not, because that's a recipe for disaster. Okay. I jumped the gun a bit. I apologize, Jake. Bold predictions, game predictions. Folks in the chat, let us know what you think. What do you think, Jake? Bold predictions. Mm-hmm.
First game back, Amari and Hampton goes for 110 and a touchdown.
110 a touchdown?
110 and a touchdown.
I mean, my fantasy team would love it. I'm desperate for a win right now to get the playoffs. I'll go sneaky. I think Quentin goes over 100 this game. Over 100 and a touchdown. Watch Quentin get another TD, by the way. I'll go 106 and a touchdown on 4 receptions. for Quentin. Oh, so nice. I almost went Thule, but I didn't. Game prediction, final score. What do you got? Oh, what do you got?
Dan, both teams need this game. Both teams need this game, but I think that the Chargers just need it that much more. And when you look at the remaining teams on this schedule, including this Eagles team, it's a gauntlet. It's an absolute gauntlet. And I know, Dan, you still believe that it's 2 wins that get you into the playoffs. And I think that can be true, but I think that also requires a little bit of help from some other teams losing. To me, I don't want to put myself in that position. So that's why I've always said it's 3. You need to get to 11 wins. Yep. So I think that Justin Herbert, primetime, we've seen what he's been already this type of season. I don't care if it's one hand. It's not his throwing hand. I think he's going to surprise some people. If they were doubting it, as far as obviously you need to protect Justin Herbert at the end of the day, both from a coaching perspective and an offensive line perspective. But I think Herbert's going to surprise some people, even with one bad hand. He's still going to go out there and have a great performance. This running game, I think, is going to be able to find a way to succeed. But overall, I think it's going to be a tough, low-scoring matchup. And believe it or not, Dan, I've said this a couple times.
Have you slid?
No. I have not picked against the Chargers all season. I'm not going to start right now.
Which is so weird. This is so strange for folks who have watched this. We're now. This is season 6. For folks who have watched this show over the lifespan, for Jake to pick the Chargers every single week.
I think this will be the first time that this is happening in the history of the show in a season if it goes the full stretch, but we'll see. But no, Dan, I actually think that this is going to be won on the leg of Mr. Cameron Dicker, 20-17 Chargers.
Man of the year, Cameron Dicker. That'd be nice. I'm going to stick to my guns here, and I'm going to get flamed for it. It's fine. Until this Chargers team beats a great front, I'm going to go with what my eyes have told me. Great defensive front plus bad offensive line for the Chargers. And one-handed Justin Herbert. My hopium, my heart says the Chargers win. But my head is telling me, and I said this last week, I said the week before, until this Chargers team wins one of these games coming up after the Raiders game, I cannot honestly be confident in picking them to win. So I hope the Chargers prove me wrong. But this Eagles team, man, they know how to win. It's coming off Super Bowl. Like, I know they've been down, but like,
they're coming in pissed off too after getting embarrassed at home.
That's
to Chicago.
what I'm saying, man.
It's gonna be a tough game.
Remember the Jacksonville narrative we had? All the reason the Chargers should have won that game. They just blown a crazy lead, like, and then all the Chargers feel good. Fear was feeling great at that Jacksonville game, and then they got absolutely trucked.
Just tell me this. Obviously, it sounds like you're picking the Eagles to win this game. So in the event that does not happen and the Chargers win on Monday Night Football, is it an open invitation to come on this show in the recap? And it's hunting season on Dan Wolkenstein, and you will accept all responsibility for your lack of hopium.
I mean, sure, I will accept responsibility for my lack of hopium for sure.
Just making sure. Not to say that your reasoning, Dan,
all of my ration. I mean,
is anything that's insane. I get it. Hey, it's the one thing that
I have been burned so
Dan's
many
have
times.
The same reasoning when we get to the Houston game. You don't think that people in Kansas City are worried today about what Houston's going to do to their offensive line? I get it, but just making sure that we reserve the right that if the Chargers pull out this victory on Monday Night Football, that everybody has the responsibility to come back on here.
Listen to you.
To give you some shit.
You are just egging them on. Athir, back to Athir form. Dan, fake fans, apparently. I mean, I've been pretty honest about how I felt this entire season. And Athir has that hopium straight to the vein every week, even when he's wrong, and then it's just fire Joe Ortiz or get mad at someone or me or whoever. Sorry that I don't pick the Chargers to win every single week. If you want to flame me for that, cool. Jonathan says, no, Dan, you are valid, but come on. Look, I think it's going to be a close game either way. To me, the Chargers team needs this one way more than the Eagles do, but they both need this one. I think this has a lot more for the Chargers if they win this. I would love it. I will be there. I would love it. But I'm not putting money on the Chargers winning. Sorry. As much as it hurts me because I so badly want to see him win, if I had money, I would bet Eagles unfortunately win like 20-19. And that's on like a last second field goal, last minute drive by the Eagles offense. And it just, I don't know, man. I've been burned too many times. So I've said this. I'm connecting my hopium to reality. And my eyes have shown me so far. Again, I'm not talking about the first 3 weeks when Joe Alt was there. The Steelers game so far was an aberration. That has not been the rule. That has been the exception. So, prove me wrong. Jake, anything else? I've gone through a bunch here. Folks in the chat are flaming Athir for not being rational. And then Athir's continuing his hopium, talking about it being a beatdown, not going to be close like he does every week against every team. 600 yards, 7 touchdowns, 800 yards, whatever it is. Jake, anything else?
I'm looking forward to getting down into Thunder Alley at SoFi tomorrow night, Dan. I'm looking forward to the atmosphere. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody pregame. I can't wait. It's going to be an exciting Monday Night Football game, one that both teams need. And like I said, the responsibility for everyone to come on this show, should the Chargers be victorious, you know what to do.
I would love it. I would love it. Look, Jake and I will be there. We'll be live, in person, in color. Excited for this one. Hanan Derry bringing statistics to my vibe check and to my gut feeling. Eagles 90% in the playoffs. They lose 98 if they win. Chargers go from 80 down to 50 with the win or loss. Ergo, Chargers need it more. Athir, we love you. Everyone understands they wish they had the hopium and the positivity that you had. Clearly, other fans have just been scarred more than you, but that's okay. We're all in this together. Jake, anything else before we jump out of here? My coffee is officially gone, by the way.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you. I'm excited, man. Like this is gonna be a fun game. This is probably, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna let it go. Man,
appreciate everyone for coming on here early Sunday morning. Go enjoy your football Sunday. Lots to talk about. We'll be hyped up for tomorrow's game, Eagles versus the Chargers, and hopefully we will see you guys in a couple of days talking about a Chargers victory on here. And of course we will do that live because we love this type of a format. And we know what it's like because when the Chargers Unleashed hotline gets going, all the emotions come to the phone at that point in time. So hoping for a victory Tuesday in this case. Let's go get it, Dan.
Let's get it. For Jake, I'm Dan. It's Chargers Unleashed. Happy Sunday. Enjoy your football. We'll talk to you next time on Chargers Unleashed.